Hello, everybody. Welcome to our presentation, and thank you very much for coming along today. I am here with Alice. My name is Jeff Lewis, Chief Nerd of Tourism Solved, previously VP of Engineering at Viator and the VP of Technology at TripAdvisor Experiences. And Alice is joining me today. Thank you, Alice, for coming along. It's going to be fantastic. Maybe you can just introduce yourself and what you do, and then we'll get started. Alice?
Hi everyone, I'm Alice. I'm the owner of Cape Byron Sea Kayaks in sunny Byron Bay.
Beautiful Byron Bay. Okay, let's kick it off. So first of all, today we're going to do a case study on growth. So we helped Alice with her business up in Byron essentially reopen after being closed for quite a period of time. So we wanted to do a case study today to share with you guys what we did together with Alice and how we did it and how it led to some fantastic growth for her. So first of all, we'll just start off with who is Tourism Solved. Tourism Solved is a digital agency to help essentially tour operators and tourism companies with their marketing online. Help optimize up and down all your different channels from direct through to third party, whatever else you might be using, help you with your content, SEO, SEM, and all that kind of stuff. And we'll hear a little bit from Alice about who is Cape Byron Kayaks, and a little bit about Byron Bay maybe as well.
So for those of you that don't know, Byron Bay is in New South Wales. It's the most easterly point of Australia. So we run tours daily out into the Cape Byron Marine Park, out to see our resident dolphins that live here year round. Also see whales on their annual migration. We've been operating since 1995. So it's 25 years this year. That's why I look old beyond my years. But 25 years, I think, also calls for a big party if we're ever allowed to have a big party again.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So Byron Bay is, I'll just add to that, one of the most beautiful places in Australia and a massive destination for both foreigners and Australians to go and enjoy some of the most beautiful surf breaks, as well as dolphins and whales, and what better way to see it than on a kayak. So let's talk a little bit more about the business. We'd like to get a bit of an overview from you, Alice, about Cape Byron Kayaks, and here you can see some of her very, very happy customers out there enjoying themselves. So I'll go to the next slide, and we'll talk a little bit about what COVID was, what Cape Byron Kayaks was prior to COVID. So this is kind of late last year and prior.
So Byron Bay's traditionally been fairly busy with domestic visitors, domestic tourists. Also been a major stopping spot on the East Coast backpacker trail. We're predominantly about 60% international, which is made up of obviously backpackers, international students. We're finding now in Byron that we're getting more people that backpacked 10 or 15 years ago. They're coming back to Byron with their families and staying at higher end properties. Domestic is a mix of school families during school holidays, corporate groups, corporate conference groups, etc., school groups, wedding parties and associated bucks and hens parties. So with everything that's happened, out of those domestic visitors, I'm really only getting the families, the corporate groups, etc. They're not coming back this year. I don't see them coming back. Byron's busy kind of September to April to the Easter school holidays, peaking in January from about Boxing Day, which those in the Northern Hemisphere, 26th of December till about Australia Day, the 26th of January is our peak period. But the school holidays are busy year round. So even the winter school holidays with the Victorians coming up. So, and then it does drop off the May, June, August time.
Yeah.
But generally,
so at the moment it's winter for those who don't know in Australia. And obviously Byron Bay doesn't really have winter because it's beautiful all year round. But there are some big holidays during winter, and we'll talk a little bit about those because that was the opportunity we took advantage of. And how about your distribution channels, Alice? Maybe you can talk to us about where your customers come from, or where they used to come from.
So while the school holiday periods are always busy, it's obviously not school holidays every week of the year. So over the last 10 years, I have, been attending all those trade shows, the ATEs, the WISTICs, etc., trying to get more bookings from the third parties, because I realise I need to be as fully booked as possible all year round. So over the last few years, 70% of my bookings have been coming through third parties, such as the OTAs and the ITOs. Also a lot from the backpacker travel shops and desks, travel desks at the backpacker hostels, and then my tour groups like Kentucky and G Adventures, who I love all their bookings and I need them all the time, and we're just missing them at the moment. So we've try and get bookings from elsewhere. My my online bookings since I signed up with Fair Harbour have increased dramatically, which has been nice. We always get a lot of phone calls and a lot of walkways as well. So comes peaking during school holidays. We do always get more direct bookings during the school holiday period, but it's But
You guys
those
also have a
third
shop
party.
front?
Sorry.
You guys also have a shop front?
Just the beach office down in where the tours depart from.
Nice. Yeah, cool. All right, well, thanks for that. So I think we understand a little bit about the business prior to COVID. Then, as it did for all of us, the world turned upside down. So let's talk a little bit about kind of the initial impact of COVID and the impact it had on your business.
So it was when non-essential travel was banned on the 24th of March, I believe. So the 23rd of March was our last day of operation. Everything was shut down. There are no international tourists, and so business had declined, but business stopped. We were not allowed to run like everyone else in Australia on that day. So that was like every other tour operator anyway. That was it.
And the government shut you down?
Yeah, we were deemed non-essential travel.
Yeah, okay. And so let's talk a little bit about more specifically your business, some of the challenges you faced during that period.
That was a really fun period. It was months of work with zero income. It's nothing. Every other operator went through the same thing, so it's not just me. But this is from what I had to deal with was shutting down the business and moving equipment, mass cancellations, the barrel of laughs that was JobKeeper, which is the Australian government subsidy for wages and helping trying to keep staff engaged. That was a lot of fun to sort out and negotiate. Hey, the bills keep coming in and you've still got no income. What's going to happen? When's going to happen? Can we reopen? When are we going to reopen? And then the COVID safe work plan. We had to implement a whole lot of changes. So the picture you can see there is us having the morning tea on tour, which we've done for years. It's tea, coffee, and the good old Australian Tim Tams. So don't worry, guys, we're still doing Tim Tams, but no more tea and coffee. That's way too hard basket for this. So Tim Tams on tour still, but tea and coffee. So it's just it was constant. It was coming at me from all angles. And like I said, it's not just me. I understand everyone else has been through the same thing, but it was not a great period.
Yeah, it was an awful time. And the COVID safe work plan, was that was for the government, was it?
Well, government, us, yeah, any governing bodies. It was WorkSafe Australia. It was a prerequisite for WorkSafe. It was, and you had to engage with your staff. And hey, I sent it out to all the staff, guys. Have you got any ideas about this? Read, let me know. Let me know if you've got any other thoughts. And one of the really good replies I got was, yeah, I've read and understood it, and my thoughts are we should stay shut till September. So that was another challenge. That was another challenge I faced, trying to get crew back to work.
Yeah, so that's interesting. In Australia with JobKeeper, people were quite enjoyed being paid to essentially not go to work, and that leads to other issues. But we can talk a bit about that on during this slide, because this is talking about reopening. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about the opportunity came. The government kind of said you're allowed to reopen. Tell us a bit about kind of what happened during that period.
Yeah, so there was quite a bit of uncertainty for a while there when if we were allowed to reopen, and I was
Yeah,
busy doing the COVID safe workplace plan and all of that kind of stuff, and I did have at the back of my mind, I'm going to need customers. It was a very hard time because it was all every day was pure speculation. You think the school holidays are going to be busy, but you don't know. Are people going to travel, or people going to be too scared to? So I realised, well, if I can reopen, I'm going to need customers.
yeah,
So I reached out to my good friend Michelle at Tourism Solved for some help and advice on helping to grow my direct bookings, because all the regular bookings, well, not all, but a lot of the regular bookings through my third parties just simply weren't going to come. So we needed to market to the domestics. We need to kind of, target them so they do book direct and sort out websites and all of that stuff, which was why I reached out to Tourism Solved, because
yeah.
I'm no expert at that kind of stuff.
So you had previously worked with Michelle when she was at Viator, I assume, yeah?
Correct. Yeah. So Michelle has known me and my product for many, many years. So
Fantastic.
she was.
Okay, so you're going to give Alice a bit of a break and talk just a little bit about some of the things we did together, and to try to get her business back back up and running as quickly as possible. So we essentially put together a plan, and the planning, essentially to meet this new market, and the new market being probably domestic tourists for the most part. Although Alice did tell me about still quite a few international tourists, surprisingly, in Australia, who just chose not to go home, which is a fantastic long holiday for them. But mostly domestic. So we worked on a number of different things. First of all, her website, and the messaging and content. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. We optimized Google My Business and Reserve with Google. These are two things I want to talk a little bit about to make sure everybody out there is taking complete advantage of these. These are fantastic products from Google. Obviously, paid marketing. We had to somehow at least let people know that this business existed and how fun it is, and why they would want to do this on their holiday or their visit to Byron. So we did some paid marketing, and obviously social media, just to make sure people knew that the business was active if they came across them or they searched for them on social media to try to investigate. So we'll jump into this website messaging. First up, Alice had already developed her COVID safe work plan with her team, as she spoke about earlier, and essentially she had to implement it in order to operate for the government bodies. So we wanted to make sure that the consumers knew about this. They knew that she was compliant, and they knew not only is she open, it's very critical to say, yes, we're open, because people will go to a lot of websites, they won't know if they're really open or closed. So it was clear messaging. I've put a kind of an enlarged version on the left. So we're open and ready, we're still fun, and we're safe. And please reach out with any questions, because consumers during this time are a bit concerned about their own safety, obviously, and they may have questions. So I think this was the right message to share, and I encourage everybody to do similar on their websites. So that's kind of tip number one for reopening, if you can do that. Let's have a look at paid marketing. Paid marketing is a big challenge during this period, because who do you market to? In Australia, Victoria was open for the first part of the holidays, and then more recently, you've probably read in the news that Melbourne had an outbreak and has been shut down, and then severely shut down. So obviously, New South Wales closed their borders. Queensland had closed their borders prior to New South Wales, so Queensland is north of Byron, and so we had to have very, very targeted marketing, because we didn't want to waste money, popping up ads for people in Melbourne who aren't allowed to leave their homes, or Queensland who aren't allowed to cross the border. So as these various borders shifted, as these various lockdowns shifted, we spent a lot of effort managing these marketing campaigns very closely, so we don't waste any money. So Google SEM made a lot of sense, obviously, because people are searching Byron Bay, things to do, kayaking, whales, dolphins, whatever it might be. And then Facebook was more targeted with obviously more photography, being a visual media, and videos and carousels, and we went right across all the different ways we could promote the business. We also did remarketing. For those who understand remarketing, essentially, if anybody visited Alice's site, we could really pinpoint target them with ads on Facebook to make sure that they were re-engaging with the brand and the message. And as you can see, a beautiful experience. We also, wanted to focus on the free channels, because what better way is there to get customers than at no cost at all? And Google My Business is critical for this. We do a lot of Google My Business workshops with people. Reach out to us if you want to talk to us about that. But really, if not, just clean up your Google My Business. Make sure you don't have 4 accounts. Make sure the links are valid. Make sure the times are right. Make sure you tell everybody you're open and that you're COVID safe. Make sure your photographs are great. Make sure you've got good reviews. And if you've got a booking system which supports reserve with Google, like Alice has, you can even sell directly on Google and stay within the Google system, and they'll manage those transactions. And the cost is very, very low. You're paying a transaction fee of some sort, but not major commissions. So critical to your success and free marketing and direct sales is Google My Business. Remember, your other channels don't have access to that because they're not in destination, so they're not going to show up on those maps. So it's a fantastic thing. Talking a little bit about social media. In Alice's case, they had a Facebook channel or a Facebook page. Their staff were engaged. They wanted to share photographs. You can see, I think, on one of these, as recently as 3 hours before the screenshot was taken, they indicated that they were operating. Alice, I think you may want to mention some of your staff got involved on this. Is that right?
We take photos on every tour. And
every tour.
We upload every tour. We take photos and they get uploaded after each tour.
And people are some of the customers maybe share those photos or whatever, so you get a little bit of extra.
Exactly. So customers, they've got their own, they put them up as well. That's ours. We make it, that we get photos. Beautiful. So people don't take out their own non-waterproof cameras and lose them, etc. as well.
Especially if a whale swims by, right?
Yeah, exactly. Plenty of them at the bottom. Okay.
So this was kind of the preparation work we did, and now I just want to talk a little bit about the reopening and let Alice take us through that. So what happened, Alice? I mean, there was kind of a lot of stuff happened in a really short period of time.
So yes, it was May 29th. We actually got permission to reopen. And the Saturday, the June the 6th, was the day we actually reopened, which was the Saturday of a long weekend in New South Wales, a public holiday. So I thought if anyone's going to come to Byron and start travelling, it'll be that weekend. So we had to get things going pretty quickly.
Yep. So essentially, we had 1 week to launch from kind of when you decided to reopen, and to get all these campaigns built and to get ready to go. So we can talk a little bit about what happened. Maybe tell us what happened here. This is a pretty good news chart.
So it was before those winter school holidays. It was, again, speculation. We were hoping people were going to travel, but it was an unknown. We just had to kind of take it again day by day and see what happens. But for those numbers in 2020, in the midst of a pandemic, to be similar to last year's bookings during the school holiday period, at least, is phenomenal. Amazing.
Yeah, it was a big success considering that the majority of your regular channels, essentially, and international guests weren't really operating.
Had disappeared.
Yeah. So I guess the message here is it can be done with a change of focus of your customers and your audience. Almost match last year's numbers with essentially reopening on the day of that long weekend. We can also have a bit of a look at, kind of how it was possible. And again, I kind of alluded to it, but it was really a channel shift. It was a channel shift from third party back last year during the same time period to direct bookings this year. And I think that was, all part of Alice sorting out her online marketing and making sure that she was actually attracting people direct. So I don't know if there's anything else you want to mention on this slide, Alice, about that shift.
No, it was just we needed no Kentucky coming through, no G Adventures coming through. For example, they left big holes through no fault of their own. We miss you guys and we want you guys to come back. But
Absolutely.
I had to fill those. I had to fill those spots. So I had to do whatever I could, and it worked. Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was a fantastic result. And for the business, it was quite interesting because this shift also meant improved margins. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about this, about what we learned during the period.
Yeah, it would have been very easy to sit back and stay shut till September. It's kind of not the way, those that know me, it's not really the way I operate. So
yeah,
sometimes you've got to spend money to make money. So I feel like the time and money invested with Tourism Solved and the change to direct bookings, actually increased the margin during that school holiday period. And it's to have a good couple of weeks gave me a bit of a buffer for the Victorian shutdown and Queensland borders shut, and who knows what's going to happen next. But at least we've got a strategy in place now to kind of go, okay, it's busy again, things have opened up, let's go again. So I feel I'm in a much
now.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, even Sydney now looks like it may be maybe a no-go zone for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. We had to block the eastern suburbs as of yesterday. So that's all right. It's going to keep happening. So we've just got to be in a position to do what we can. And it was end of May, and we were like, okay, we're back on, and now we're in mid-August. So a lot's happened in 2.5 months as well. In a much better position now than I was at the end of May, anyway.
But yeah, that's great. And I guess the other kind of nice thing is that we can turn the marketing on and off as conditions change.
Exactly.
We can save you those costs if we just don't feel that marketing to, for instance, Sydney's eastern suburbs where there was an outbreak is viable for the time period, and you can keep that marketing money for later when things or for retargeting towards some other region that you may have more success with. So yeah, it's been a really really strange time for everybody around the world, especially us in this industry. So we can talk a little bit about the future. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about your kind of plans for the future, and maybe give the people watching that have joined us today, some tips about kind of what you're thinking and the rest.
What I'm thinking is that it's all pure speculation. Again, you don't know what's going to happen day to day. So all I've been doing is simply taking it day by day and trying to do what I can, where I can, whenever I can. It's borders closing. I just yesterday we got advised by New South Wales Health to not accept customers if they've been in the Sydney's eastern suburbs for the last 14 days. Now, last couple of weeks, probably about 95% of our customers have been from Sydney, and probably about 90% of those have been from the eastern suburbs. So we're going to take a hit for a couple of weeks here, but it's what happens when you're trying to operate during a pandemic. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. Do what you can when you can, and try and get as many Aussies on kayaks wherever possible, and the more direct the better. But obviously we want all those third parties back, sooner rather than later. But I want me and my business to be in a sustainable, viable position for when they do come back. Okay, yeah, we're still here. We're ready to go.
Yeah, and hopefully that'll happen. But as you said, it's all speculation. So that's right. I think we're also working on one other project with you at the moment, and that's a content marketing project to try to make sure your content is, both optimized for your search marketing quality score, which is essentially making sure that the people that click on ads stay on your site, and that Google likes to see that, and that helps keep your cost of marketing down, as well as obviously your search engine optimization, keywords, and make sure that you get as much free traffic as possible. So those are some of the longer term projects we're working on as we hopefully come out of COVID over the next unknown period of time. Unfortunately, we can't estimate that. So finally, I guess hopefully you guys have all enjoyed hearing from Alice and hearing kind of her case study. Cape Byron Kayaks, everybody's suffering around the world. Different places have different issues. They have different regulations. Nothing's perfect for everybody, but nothing's even great for everybody. But hopefully there's some tips and tricks you can pick up from this. Some of them being, hopefully you can take away that you can pivot your channel strategy. You can sell domestically if you've relied previously on foreign tourists, largely on foreigners. You can increase your margins by driving customers to your site with effective marketing. So I encourage you to consider that if you have relied on third parties that are no longer delivering due to their business models. With a suitable product offering, you can operate profitably during this pandemic. Alice bounced her numbers right back to where they were last year, which is a fantastic result that we're really proud of. Altogether, we're really proud of the efforts everybody put in. Everybody out there is exceptionally busy. Alice is especially, one person running this successful business. So make sure you reach out for help from us or from a local marketing agency, whoever it might be, because it can help your business, and you can't be an expert at everything. So don't be, I think Alice kind of said it best. You have to spend money to make money, and it kind of worked out for her. So hopefully you can do the same. We wish everybody out there the best of luck getting through this very, very messy situation, and hopefully everybody will soon be prospering again, and maybe even at the next Arrival we'll be in person if all my dreams came true, and we can meet over a beer. And thanks, big thanks to Alice. Brilliant for her to take all this time and energy when she's busy to share her case study with you guys. And big thanks to everybody out there for watching and participating. And hopefully on the online chat, we'll be around for a bit, and hopefully we've answered some questions during the online chat. And best of luck. Thank you very much. We'll leave it at that.
Thanks, everyone. Hope to see you in Byron Bay for that 25-year party soon.
I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Cheers, everyone.